welcome back to Atreyu News. It's April 2nd, 2017. Well, look who has been funding non-profits for illegals. Believe it or not, U.S. taxpayers have been funding non-profits for illegal aliens. The Daily Caller reported taxpayers funded 8 non-profits that serve, protect, or advocate for illegal immigrants with more than $291 million between 2012 and 2016. Well, at least we know where our money's going. It's amazing the amount of tax that we pay, yet the infrastructure crumbles. It's becoming more and more clear that the money's either leaving the country or going to people who are not Americans. According to an analysis of federal spending data and tax documents by the Daily Caller News Foundation investigative group. The 8 groups, including at least one that endorsed Democratic presidential candidate Hillary Clinton in 2016, big surprise there, provide a variety of support to illegal aliens, ranging from legal and social services to political advocacy. I find it truly amazing how there's no other country on earth, except for mainly America and Europe, I would say at this point. I know Europe's not a country in particular, but the countries within Europe and America in particular would advocate to give free things to people that are never supposed to be there in the first place. Like, you can go to these other countries, like Muslim countries, they're very nationalistic. Parts of Africa, very nationalistic. You can't have an outsider come in, and even if you did, you have major backlash. But let's just say an outsider successfully came into a nationalistic country in Africa or the Middle East, for example. You would not be caught dead giving them free stuff. The government would not give them a damn thing. And if they did, the people would lose their damn minds, and rightfully so. It's become acceptable in the West to do such psychotic behavior. Some people only learn one way, though. 94% of the public funds, or nearly $274 million, came from the federal government, according to data obtained from usaspending.gov and 990 tax forms. The $291 million total in public funding, however, is almost certainly an underestimate, since the respective 990s of each implicated nonprofit for all 5 years were not always available. Additionally, those groups only represent a small sample of publicly funded pro-illegal immigrant nonprofits. I would suggest that if someone would advocate for illegals to be in the country, it should be mandatory that they have to let them into their own home. They should have to clothe them and feed them so they would understand what the rest of us go through. I know the rich white liberals in their segregated societies like the idea of illegals because it's cheap labor. It's not for human rights. That is not what it's for. It's for cheap labor, for the white liberals who actually are the real privileged ones. Speaking of privilege, New Yorkers just said no to Hillary Clinton. Now, Hillary Clinton has been rejected in now 2 presidential elections, yet she still feels she has the privilege to go on and make a difference after the entire country told her no, not once, but twice. And if you actually add up the scandals after Trump's election, she actually got rejected 3 or 4 times, because lost to Obama, lost to Trump, then the whole idea to steal the electors from Trump, that didn't work. And then the recount, that didn't work. So that's 4 by my count. In a recent poll of New York City voters, former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton did not perform very well with a majority of voters. DailyCaller.com reported 58% of likely voters in the city don't want Clinton to run again, compared to just 23% of voters who wanted the former presidential candidate to run. 19% of voters hadn't yet made up their mind. Current Mayor Bill de Blasio is set to run for re-election, but trails Republican challenger Paul Massey Jr. in terms of fundraising. Massey raised $1.6 million in the race so far, compared to de Blasio's $1 million. So that's not really too much. Clinton expressed interest in the race, but said she would only consider running if de Blasio didn't enter the race for some reason. Wouldn't that be something? To have another Republican mayor in the state of New York. The blue states are turning red, and the red states are going fluorescent red. 2018 should be good for a laugh, as far as a Republican standpoint. A 14-year-old just arrested in live-streamed rape of a 15-year-old girl. And now we have a new epidemic. Not first, but I would say the most recent hate crime perpetrated by blacks to a handicapped white 15-year-old or something. A few months ago this happened. And I'm quite happy to know that actually that kid's family, who was tortured by the blacks, actually received over $100,000 for going through such an atrocity. But they're charged with a hate crime, and it's funny how black people say they can't be racist because they don't have any power within the United States, and they have all these stupid arguments. But no, they're charged with a hate crime. And then there was a gang rape of a young black girl by other blacks, and now we have a 14-year-old girl just arrested, or a 14-year-old just arrested for a 15-year-old girl rape. All these things were streamed on Facebook. I don't know what would go on in someone's head to think that was a good idea to not only do such an atrocious thing to someone else and then post it on Facebook for the world to see. There is a very real evil that exists in this world. A 14-year-old boy has been arrested in a Facebook live stream rape of a 15-year-old girl in Chicago. Chicago! No surprise there. Isn't that where Black Lives Matter came to be? AP News reported, Chicago AP, Chicago police say a 14-year-old boy has been arrested in the sexual assault of a 15-year-old girl. Police spokesman Anthony Guglielmi said in a statement late Saturday that the suspect faces felony charges of aggravated criminal sexual assault, manufacturing of child pornography, and dissemination of child pornography. He says more arrests are expected. Police Superintendent Eddie Johnson has scheduled a news conference Sunday morning to provide additional details. The alleged incident, if it's on Facebook and there is video footage of it, is it really alleged? Incident occurred in mid-March. Guglielmi has said the police were not aware of the attack until the girl's mother approached Johnson as he was leaving a police station on the city's west side and showed him the video. Guglielmi said Johnson was visibly upset after he watched. Well, no kidding. These are not people we're dealing with. They're demons in human skin. And as far as capital punishment, I'm sorry, not every life has value. I don't care what these people on the left say. If you use your life to destroy other people's lives, and you don't contribute to society, and you spread violence and death, I'm sorry, your life has no value, and you have no right to have it, in my opinion.